question from Mike, who started training back before the quarantine started, before the lockdown started. And, you know, again, that put it into his training for a little bit, but during the break, he was studying some jiu-jitsu, watching matches and stuff like that. And then now he said his gym's been back for about a week and he's been training, which is super exciting. He's happy about it. But he said he's having the white belt problem that most white belts, I had this problem too, which is that he said he's overwhelmed by techniques. He's like, dude, there's so much stuff out there, right? So much technique out there. And he said that he's watched several videos of mine where I talk about that you need to focus on something. You need to step on the mat and have a focus. And he sent me the message. He said, listen, Chewy, I understand I need to have a focus. All right, I'm ready to focus. So with all this stuff out there, what the heck do I focus on? And that's his question. Like, what do you focus on when you're overwhelmed by everything? So brother, thank you for the question. And again, I've done videos on this channel talking about this subject and mainly about the mindset and the approach, about it. But I wanted to give you something tangible. So I'm going to give you something that at the end of this video, you will have a sort of a direction to immediately go after, and you can start searching on YouTube or doing whatever instructional stuff you want to do, talk to your coach. Wherever you take in information, you can immediately dive into it, and you can get something that I think will be really useful to you, especially in the beginning stage. But I think this will be useful to anybody, even if you're not a beginner. So when it comes to grappling matches, I believe, I'm going on my gut now, this is just how I feel, but from watching matches and everything else, 70% of a match is like, or a roll, I will use those terms interchangeably, whether it's a roll in the gym or a match in competition, but 70% of a roll is the guard passing battle, both the person on top trying to break and pass the guard and the person on the bottom trying to retain, maintain their guard and then use a sweeper submission. That's like 70% of it, right? I mean, obviously, you have all the back and you have dominant positions and stuff like that, but when you watch someone who can dominantly use their guard or dominantly use their top position, they win matches, they win rolls. Because think about it, what is the mantra that we have been that has been beaten into our heads as white belts in the beginning, when the first time we tied our white belt on? It's position before submission. I say this to my students, right? Because if you dominate position, you're always in a good spot. You wear the person out, and the submissions are easy pickings. And so if you're a person on the bottom and you're able to maintain your guard, you're able to retain your guard, the person can't pass your guard, and you're able to attack with submission after submission, or you're able to get a sweep, you're putting yourself in the dominant position the whole time, right? On the flip side, if you're on top and the person cannot submit you and you're able to pass the guard at will, and even if they bring their guard back, boom, you pass it again, well, then you are in dominant position. Simple as that. So by being able to win that battle, you put yourself in dominant position more often. And so, this is always true for me too. If I'm at a loss of what to focus on, I'll always go back to guard passing, guard sweeping, any of that stuff around that guard passing battle, either top or bottom, because that's where I'm gonna get the most bang for my buck, right? I could obviously go down deep in the rabbit hole in these weird positions and stuff like that, from submissions and things like that, which is fine if I wanna do that, but I can always get some better guard passing. I can always get better with my sweeps, and those are really gonna be important because those are the things that put me in the best dominant positions possible. And so Mike, you're brand new, but I would say this to anybody else, this is what I would focus on. Guard passing, guard sweeping, all the stuff around that guard battle. Now, what I would say is, because you're newer, I would say you really probably want to start with some full guard, maybe some half guard depending on your leg length, but probably full guard, and then probably work on holding that position, either throw in a few sweeps or submissions, but focus in that area for a little bit. And on top, you want to focus on being able to break the guard and being able to pass. And typically in the beginning, I get people to focus mostly on lower pressure passes just because everything's tighter. Same thing with full guard. It's easier in the beginning just because it's tighter and there's less dynamic movement. And so that's what I would say. But if you're not a beginner and you're a little bit more advanced, just go down the rabbit hole with whatever sort of position you want to use from those guard passing or guard sweeping or guard submission type stuff. So anyway, that's the idea. You get a lot of bang for your buck winning that guard passing battle because you will put yourself in good dominant position, and that is the name of the game when it comes to jiu-jitsu, right? Dominant position. So that's the idea for you, Mike. Hope that's useful to you, brother, and I'll talk to you guys next time.